In 1937, while the Great Depression was strangling the global economy and urban families were forced into humiliating breadlines, a quiet revolution was occurring in the heart of Holmes County, Ohio. While the nascent industrial agribusiness was preaching a doctrine of get big or get out, claiming that doubling food production required doubling acreage, a small community of Amish farmers was operating under a completely different mathematical logic. They weren't looking at the horizon for more land, they were looking at the vertical plane. They were harvesting upwards of 100 pounds of high-calorie, nutrient-dense potatoes in structures that occupied less ground space than a standard living room armchair. This is the Amish anomaly, a direct challenge to the industrial myth of land scarcity. For nearly a century, traditional agriculture has dictated that we must plant in 30-foot-long trenches, hilling them once or twice, and then simply hoping for a decent yield. This horizontal model is the definition of the logic of scarcity. It forces the individual to spend hours of manual labor, wasting sweat, precious topsoil, and expensive water, only to receive a mediocre 20 to 40 pounds of produce. This is not just a gardening method, it is an economic trap. By forcing production to happen horizontally, the industrial system ensures that most people believe they don't have enough room to feed themselves. This belief creates a psychological and physical dependency on the grocery store supply chain, a chain that is vulnerable, expensive, and increasingly fragile. The Amish didn't use complex technology or patented chemicals to break this cycle. They used a simple wire cylinder, roughly 2 feet in diameter, and a profound understanding of plant physiology. When harvest time arrived, they didn't reach for a shovel to laboriously dig through the dirt, risking damage to the tubers. They simply cut the wire ties. The structure would fall open, and a cascade of organic gold, clean, perfectly formed potatoes, would spill out from every vertical level of the column. It was a visual proof that verticality is the ultimate weapon against land dependency. Before we dismantle the biology of this system and show you exactly how to build it, take a moment to subscribe to this channel. We are building a network of independence, a community of people who refuse to be hostages to the fluctuating prices of the supermarket. Hit the like button and comment below with the word independent if you are ready to reclaim your food sovereignty. Your engagement is the fuel that allows us to keep bringing these forbidden systems of abundance back to light. The systemic villain, the engineered erasure of knowledge. To understand why the modern consumer is trapped in a cycle of high prices and low-quality produce, one must identify the systemic villain, the industrial agricultural complex. This global machine is built on a singular profitable lie, the lie of horizontal necessity. The industry has spent nearly a century convincing the public that to grow food, you need vast, flat acreage. This is because horizontal expansion is the only way to justify the sale of heavy machinery, GPS-guided tractors, and millions of tons of synthetic NPK fertilizers. If you believe that you need a farm to be self-sufficient, you will never try to be self-sufficient in your backyard. This perceived lack of space is the primary shackle that keeps the modern family tethered to the grocery store supply chain. When you plant a traditional 30-foot row of potatoes, you are playing by the industry's rules. In that horizontal row, the plant is limited by the surface area of the soil. You hill the plant once, maybe twice, and then you stop because you've run out of dirt to pile up. This flat earth gardening method effectively caps your production at a minguard 1 or 2 pounds per plant. The industry loves this inefficiency. It ensures that your home garden remains a hobby rather than a legitimate threat to their profit margins. They have intentionally erased the vertical science of the Amish and other indigenous systems because verticality scales without the need for their expensive industrial inputs. Furthermore, the industrial system relies on a fragile, just-in-time delivery model. The potatoes you buy at the store have likely traveled an average of 1,500 miles. They have been treated with sprout inhibitors, toxic chemicals designed to keep the potato dormant so it can sit in a dark warehouse for months without showing signs of life. This isn't food. It is a preserved commodity. By the time it reaches your table, its biological vitality is depleted, and its nutritional profile is a shadow of what a fresh, homegrown tuber offers. The true genius of the Amish vertical system is that it bypasses every single one of these industrial bottlenecks. It doesn't require a tractor, it requires a wire cylinder. It doesn't require synthetic chemicals, it requires the natural heat of composting organic matter. By stacking production upward, we are utilizing the third dimension, height, which the industrial complex cannot tax or control. Biological physics, the Stolon mechanism and vertical ignition. To master the infinite potato system, we must look past the green leaves and understand the hidden biological engine of the plant. There is a fundamental misunderstanding in modern gardening that acts as a ceiling on your productivity. Most people believe that potatoes grow on the roots of the plant, similar to a carrot or a turnip. This is a catastrophic technical error. Potatoes do not grow on roots. They grow on specialized underground stems called stolons. This distinction is the key to unlocking 100 pounds of food in a 2-foot circle. A root's job is to anchor the plant and move water and minerals. A stolon's job is to search for space to store energy in the form of starch, the potato itself. Here is the biological law that the industrial complex hides. Stolons only develop from the portion of the main stem that is buried in darkness. They will never emerge from the part of the plant exposed to the sun, and they do not emerge from the actual root system at the very bottom. In a traditional horizontal garden, you bury a seed potato, it grows 8 inches tall, and you hill it once. You have now created maybe 4 or 5 inches of buried stem. That plant is biologically capped. It only has a tiny production zone to send out stolons. The infinite potato system ignores these horizontal limits. By using a vertical cylinder, we manipulate the plant's natural phototropism, its urge to grow toward the light. As the plant reaches for the sun, we strategically bury the stem in layers. Every time we add 6 inches of organic material, we are forcing the plant to convert what would have been a simple green branch into a high-output stolon factory. We are essentially stretching the productive zone of the plant from 4 inches to 3 feet. Think of this as stacked production. In the same 2.5 square feet of ground, we are layering 3, 4, or even 5 tiers of potato development on top of each other. This is not a gardening trick. It is applied biology. We are providing the plant with the exact physical conditions, darkness, moisture, and desegregated nutrients that trigger its DNA to go into an overproduction cycle. The physics of this system are undeniable. More buried stem equals more stolons, and more stolons equal an endless supply of calories. Subscribe to help this video break through the noise of the industrial algorithm. Comment Stolon below if you now understand the real physics of how a potato forms. Genetic logic, the banned varieties of abundance. In the architecture of the infinite potato system, your selection of genetic material is the difference between an empty wire cylinder and a 100-pound harvest. This is the stage where most backyard growers quietly lose their independence before they even place a single seed in the ground. The industrial food complex relies on a lack of genetic literacy. They sell you what is easy to transport and what looks good on a shelf, not what is engineered for high-density vertical production. To win this game, you must understand the distinction between determinate and indeterminate genetics. The most common potatoes found in grocery stores, varieties like Yukon Gold, Red Norland, or Adirondack Blue, are categorized as determinate. In biological terms, these plants have a fixed production ceiling. They are genetically programmed to produce a single layer of tubers at one specific depth. No matter how high you hill them, no matter how many vertical layers of compost you add, a determinate potato will refuse to produce stolons along the new sections of the buried stem. If you use these varieties in a tower, you are wasting 90% of your vertical space. To achieve infinite abundance, you must source indeterminate varieties. These are the powerhouses of the potato world. Genetics like Russet Burbank, German Butterball, Elba, Kennebec, or Bintia. These varieties possess a unique biological trait. They will continue to strike new stolons and set new tubers along every single inch of the stem that you bury. As the plant reaches for the sun and you add your layers of mulch and compost, an indeterminate potato responds by stacking production tier upon tier. You are not just planting once, you are triggering a continuous reproductive cycle that climbs towards the sky. Never, under any circumstances, use potatoes purchased from a standard supermarket as your seed stock. The industrial system treats commercial produce with chemicals like chlorprothum, CIPC. These are hormonal suppressants designed to keep the potato in a state of chemical dormancy so it can survive months of transport without sprouting. If you plant these, you are planting a biologically stunned organism. True independence requires certified seed potatoes, clean, vigorous, and untreated genetics ready to explode into growth. Before you begin the planting process, you must perform chitting. Cut your larger seed potatoes into pieces roughly the size of a large egg with at least 2 healthy eyes. Allow these pieces to sit in a cool, dry place to form a callus, a natural bandage that prevents rot. Layer 1. Engineering structural decompression. Now we enter the assembly phase of the infinite potato system. This is where the physical environment must meet the biological demands of the plant. The most common cause of failure in vertical gardening is a lack of understanding of structural decompression. If you fill a 3-foot wire cylinder with standard garden soil, the sheer weight of the column, combined with gravity and water, will compress the medium into a dense, anaerobic brick. In a compressed environment, oxygen is squeezed out. Without oxygen, the plant cannot perform cellular respiration. The stolons will suffocate, and the entire system will rot from the bottom up. To build layer 1, you must create what we call a decompressed matrix. This is a 50-50 blend of aged organic compost and shredded dry straw. We do not use soil as the primary medium, we use a biological engine. You begin by lining the inner perimeter of your 2-foot wire cylinder with a thick nest of straw, about 10 to 12 inches high. This straw acts as a secondary skin. It prevents your compost from spilling through the wire mesh, while allowing for maximum gas exchange. Because the sides of the tower are porous, oxygen can penetrate the root zone from 360 degrees. Once the straw lining is in place, you fill the center with your compost straw mix to a depth of about 6 inches. This is your ignition zone. The compost provides the slow-release NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, and micronutrients, while the straw maintains the structural voids that prevent compaction. This mixture should feel light and fluffy in your hands, well-draining but capable of holding steady, life-giving moisture through capillary action. In this first layer, you space 4 to 5 of your calloused seed potato pieces evenly across the surface, ensuring the eyes are facing upward toward the light. You then cover them with another 4 to 6 inches of your mix and water the entire structure thoroughly. At this stage, your tower stands about 12 inches tall. You have established the foundation of a vertical carbon sink. Before we move to layer 2, make sure you have subscribed to this channel. We are documenting the path to total self-reliance, and every subscriber strengthens our collective resilience. Hit the like button to signal that you value technical, honest information over industrial marketing. Comment "foundation" below if you are ready to stop suffocating your plants in compressed garden soil. Layer 2. The hilling cycle, the infinite multiplication protocol. Once the first green shoots emerge from the surface of your foundation, the infinite potato system enters its most critical phase, the vertical multiplication cycle. In our engineering model, we use a technique called triggered stolonogenesis. This is a biological hack that forces the plant to stay in a perpetual state of youthful reproduction, rather than transitioning into a purely vegetative state. When the potato stems reach about 8 to 10 inches above your first layer, you do not let them continue upward. Instead, you bury them again. You add another 6 to 8 inches of your compost straw matrix, leaving only the top 3 or 4 inches of the leaves exposed to the sun. These exposed tips act as your biological solar panels, gathering the energy needed for photosynthesis. Below the surface, however, the plant's internal chemistry is shifting. The newly buried section of the stem, now deprived of light, begins to transform its axillary buds into new stolons. You have just added a second production floor to your vertical factory. This cycle is repeated every 2 to 3 weeks throughout the growing season. By the time your tower reaches its full 3-foot height, you will have completed 3 or 4 of these hilling cycles. Underneath the surface, you have created a high-density column of stacked tubers. This is volumetric efficiency. You are producing more calories per cubic foot than any horizontal agricultural system on the planet. Hydraulic management, the 3-inch rule, and capillary physics. The most common point of failure in any vertical system is a lack of understanding of thermodynamic evaporation. In our 2.5 square foot tower, the entire 360-degree surface area of the column is exposed to the air. This provides high oxygen levels, but also subjects the system to rapid dehydration. If the moisture level drops below a critical threshold, the plant enters hydraulic stress, shutting down the Stolon production to save its own life. To prevent this, the independent engineer follows the 3-inch rule. Gravity constantly pulls water towards the base, meaning the top 6 inches of your tower will always be the first to dry out. You must never judge the hydration of the system by looking at the surface. You must physically insert your hand 3 inches into the compost straw matrix. If it feels dry at that depth, you apply a deep, slow saturation. We are looking for uniform capillary action, where the water moves through the macropores of the straw and coats every developing tuber without pooling at the bottom and causing anaerobic rot. In high summer conditions, this may mean watering every 48 hours. However, we avoid municipal city water treated with chlorine and fluoride, as these chemicals can degrade the living soil biology. If possible, utilize rainwater. Water is the hydraulic fluid that transports nutrients. Without it, the infinite part of the system grinds to a halt. The harvest protocol, deconstructing the column and curing the yield. The moment of harvest in the infinite potato system is the ultimate validation of the biological physics we have engineered. In our vertical model, we do not dig, we deconstruct. When the foliage at the top of the 3-foot tower begins to yellow and die back naturally, it is a physiological signal. The plant has finished its solar collection and has successfully transferred all its energy into the stacked tiers of tubers below. This is the point of dormancy initiation. You do not harvest the moment the leaves fade. You wait 10 to 14 days. During this period, the potatoes remain in the dark while their skins set, a biological hardening process that makes them resistant to rot. On harvest day, the process is a simple matter of physics. You do not reach for a shovel. You take a pair of wire cutters and snip the ties holding the cylinder together. As the tension is released, the wire falls away, and the entire 360-degree column of compost and straw collapses under its own weight. What follows is the cascade of gold. Because we used a decompressed matrix, the potatoes are not encased in heavy clods of dirt. They appear clean, dry, and nestled in the loose organic material, appearing at every single level of the 3-foot height. You will find clusters of potatoes stacked in tiers that simply could not exist in a horizontal garden. A successful tower can yield anywhere from 40 to 100 pounds of clean, nutrient-dense calories. This is the moment of total separation from the industrial supply chain, financial conversion, and final independence, the infinite income system. To conclude the infinite potato system, we must translate biological yield into economic reality. In the world of independence engineering, we measure success in the replacement of commercial expenses with self-generated assets. When you harvest 100 pounds of organic heirloom potatoes from a single 2.5 square foot tower, you have produced a commodity that would cost hundreds of dollars at a high-end organic market. But the value is deeper than the price tag. This is infinite income because the system is a closed loop. By saving a portion of your harvest as seed for the following year, you have eliminated the subscription to the industrial seed complex. By composting the straw and organic waste from the previous tower, you have created the fertilizer for the next one. You have replaced a recurring monthly grocery expense with a 3-foot wire cylinder and a basic understanding of plant physics. When you scale this to 4 or 5 towers in a small corner of a backyard, you are producing enough complex carbohydrates to sustain a family for an entire season. This is the end of industrial dependency. The supermarket relies on your belief that food is a product of global logistics and complex chemistry. We have proven that food is a product of vertical space and biological management. Every pound of potato you grow is a direct strike against the inflation and fragility of the modern world. You are no longer a consumer waiting for a delivery. You are an engineer of your own abundance. The physics do not lie. The biology does not negotiate. The infinite potato system works because it aligns with the natural urge of the plant to multiply upward. The Amish knew this in 1937, and it is more relevant today than ever before. You now have the blueprints. You have the genetic logic. You have the layering implementation. The only thing left is for you to build the tower and reclaim your freedom. Build your tower, feed your family, and live forever free.